नमस्कार सभी को बोल दादा बोल के ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे once again welcome. On this platform, as we always say, you need to speak because unless you speak, nothing will happen. Not appropriate for me to be speaking today at all because a very special guest has joined us, Aditi Chauhan. Aditi, thank you, and we are extremely honored to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
The
Glad
pleasure.
and honored to be your first sports guest, as you said.
Podcast number two for us, and we are honored, in fact, honored and privileged to have Aditi. Obviously, everyone knows her, but still, if new viewers who do not follow much of Indian football, as we are kind of also venturing out into other spheres of the society. Indian captaincy, played for the West Ham ladies, very articulate Indian footballer. You hardly meet that because a footballer and articulation and football do not go always hand in hand. She runs her own academy of her own, a commentator right at the present moment at the domestic level and the international level, have won many tournaments. All of that we will be speaking to Aditi. Aditi, unfortunately, you are missing out. We are missing you on the field. So, what's
Yes.
the update for all the fans, and when do we see you back?
Yeah, it was very unfortunate that I could not be part of the team in the first round of Olympic qualifiers. But going through an injury is never easy, obviously, but I've done it in the past, so I have experience and just have that mental clarity also now that I have to be back on the field as soon as I can and continue playing for the country and enjoy playing as long as I can.
So when do we expect you to hit the field? We obviously want to chat with you, but not on
Yeah,
podcast. We would rather prefer you to be guarding the
absolutely.
bar on the green turf.
It's always more fun being on the field, definitely. That's why I started playing. It's the love and every aspect of the game that you enjoy, that you miss. But I should be back hopefully by this year's end. We'll see how the rehab goes, but I should be back soon. Let's see how the rehab goes, basically.
Let it be earlier, no complaints on that. So where are you doing your rehab? In Bengaluru, you mentioned. And if you could
Yes.
tell us, if you could
Yeah.
educate us a bit as to what the rehab is all about. We understand rehab, but what
Hmm.
specifically is being done or one
So,
needs to do?
so basically, when you get a surgery, a knee surgery like this ACL, you basically have to start learning how to walk again. That's how they're like you have to start from scratch. You start building that muscle. You start getting used to the surgery done, the everything that has been repaired. So the body reacts and adapts accordingly for you to then again slowly progress and play at that level, because you might be, when you're playing a competitive match, there are various, you can't predict what's going to happen, so there are, very sudden movements and everything. So your body needs to be prepared accordingly to absorb that pressure and not, prevent further injuries and be able to play continuously. So that's why it takes a long period, especially when you come back from an ACL injury. It takes that a 6 to 9 months is the ideal time that is said, that you by that time the slowly has adapted to a to the best at the best, and then you're able to play competitively or not. That depends on how you feel ultimately mentally, if you're ready to forget about maybe injuries and then go back to playing and enjoying the game like you used to. So it's also a mental battle, not just a physical. So that's why it takes a long time.
Yeah, I was going to come to that, the mental battle, because obviously self doubts, I understand, do creep in. I have had chats with so many footballers. Most prominent about the ACL, I remember having a chat with Sandesh on this, and he went means into detail as to how their self doubts can creep in and how
Yeah.
one needs to stay positive. What are you doing on that aspect, Aditi?
Yes, so yeah, definitely mental aspect to it, and maybe that is why I've recently taken up breathing exercises, a bit more of yoga, I think that also is helping me mentally to calm myself down, be more focused, more positive about, and be grateful about the things that you do have, and you make best of the opportunity now in the circumstances. So that's why here, doing a little bit of commentary and here doing a podcast with you. So just trying to use this time as well as I can.
Boll Dada Boll platform will be eternally grateful for you coming here as a first guest. We have a long journey ahead of us, and we won't be forgetting that ever. Coming back to commentary, very crisp commentary coming in from you. We have been hearing you. I have exchanged chats with you. So, it's easier to do commentary or playing is better?
It's definitely better to, for me at least, to be playing. Commentary is still something that I'm getting a hang of. It is, your inputs and your feedback is definitely appreciated. But it's good, it gives me a different perspective of the game. It helps me, really watch the game tactically in that way. And, it just helps me improve my understanding of the game. So I'm glad to bring the player's perspective, also the goalkeeper's perspective of how things are on the field, and share it with the people who are listening to me.
In fact, you know what? When we were doing commentary for the Indian men's senior national team, we were watching, and me and my wife were watching, and I told this is Aditi's voice. Bolo, I know the name. Okay, Bolo, she should also be hosting the shows. Let she be the Mandira Vedi of Indian women's football commentary in the studio. Why can't she do it? Alam, yeah, bigger, better times obviously coming ahead. So that's the feedback. Also, we need to see you there as well.
Happy
Well,
to hear
Aditi,
that.
the FIFA Women's World Cup is on, and you know what? Whenever I speak about that, not many people believe, but I do realistically believe that we had a chance of going into the FIFA Women's World Cup. It was heartbreak when COVID struck. I was there as part of the camp in Kochi, and I saw what was happening. Very much confident. How much of a setback, and does it come back to you that okay, my goodness, we should have not could we should have been there?
Hmm. No, that is, in fact, a couple of days ago only I was talking to someone and I mentioned that this will always be a missed opportunity, the Asia Cup, and the bad luck that we had, because in my entire career, at the kind of preparation that went into, with the kind of focus that we were, how focused we were about qualifying for the World Cup, being a part of the Asia Cup. Our targets were very, very clear, and we had a good time for preparation. We traveled around the world. We faced Brazil, taking that fear out of us, that experience of playing big teams. So we were really mentally and physically, we were really, ready to perform.
Are you keeping a tab of the women's world cup? Definitely, I see smaller nations doing well. How do you see that? Means underdogs,
It's
rather I would say underdogs, not smaller nations. Apologies for that.
actually, the fact is that, the gap between the different players has, different countries has reduced dramatically, and that is the most exciting part, and that's what makes the World Cup so exciting and open. We said, before the World Cup started, that this is perhaps the most open and competitive World Cup ever to be played. And seeing teams like USA, Brazil, that you've grown up idolizing and watching, they being knocked out in the knockout stages is something that you don't, or not even making it to the knockout stages. Sorry, in group stages they've got exit.
Eliminate.
So this is crazy, and the most exciting part, that we can also get there. We've seen teams like Philippines who qualified from the Asia Cup, and are playing the World Cup. That's the kind of, they're also making a mark. It could have brought a whole revolution, I feel, in India. Playing the World Cup, especially for football, is a huge thing. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Asia Cup would definitely be a missed opportunity, but we have to, just accept it and move on and just stay focused, that is our target.
I've always believed, and I've told each and everyone whom I speak to, that I believe that the women's team will be competing or qualifying to the FIFA World Cup much ahead than the men's team, definitely.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
Aditi,
but everybody, I'll just add there, sorry, that everybody agrees, but it is also about, taking the right steps to get there. Yes, but it's not without paying attention and actually doing what is needed to develop and start competing at that level. We talk about it, but now recently we exit from SEF. We were eliminated. In the SEB, which is a tournament that we dominated. So, the other countries are also competing. They also have the same intention of playing the World Cup, progressing and developing. So, we have to do maybe a bit more in terms of developing and actually providing those opportunities for development, to get there, to get to the World Cup and actually compete in the World Cup, not just be able to play.
you mentioned steps. What kind of steps do you believe? Are you hinting at?
Yeah, I mean, we need more, national international matches. We are preparing for the Asian Games, and it's a tough group, and we've just assembled 1 month before, and I think we still need more time, more international matches to prepare ourselves, and also maybe like more, of course, a bigger IWL is needed, but I think that is something that is happening with the new management coming in. There are steps being taken, but it'll be interesting how the IWL expands and how it operates, what the system is going to look like, because there have been some really good promises from the management, and if they are actually applied, then it would make a huge difference.
More clubs in the IWL. You have always been mentioning about that because most of the money in Indian football, club football, is kind of disbalanced, if we may say. Okay, you give it to the men's team, but why is the women's team always ignored? Very hard for me to be believing and understanding that ISL clubs or Hero I League clubs cannot have a women's team of their own. When do you see that changing and how?
Hopefully next season. There are no I have come to know or made aware that some of the ISL and I League clubs might get into, put in the women's team as well in the IWL, and that would be a huge positive. But apart from that, also just now being in Bangalore for some time, I've been interacting with clubs and seeing the kind of development. um, there is definitely a greater interest among the clubs as well as the girls playing football. It is now being seen as a profession, by the parents, by the clubs, by the kids as well, by the girls. So, we are definitely getting that interest. Now we have to put this interest in the right way, have a proper system in place so that you get the best out of the interest and the potential that we have.
You have been quite very vocal about a certain club taking off their women's team as there were talks about they had to pay a fine. Means in such a situation, what kind of motivation would you be passing on to the younger girls who want to build a career in football?
That's what
You are an
Yeah,
established season campaigner right now. What
that's what
advice?
makes it so difficult, honestly, sir. When you're advocating about the development, the potential and all of that, and then you see a club like that, or any such, there've been multiple other news as well associated with the Indian women's team. And So these kind of, news and things that happen, then have, it's like a huge step back for us, and that is what is more disappointing, and that is why I was so vocal about it. Because and one way we are talking about the development, and then, Kerala being one of the biggest states of football, uh, instead of offering that platform to the girls as well, their solution was to shut the women's team, which honestly to me didn't make sense. Obviously it's their business decision, or whatever the decision was based on, but it is a step back when things like these happen.
Well, the passion in Kerala is unmatchable. I believe it's a very temporary setback for the club. And I believe they would be back very, very soon and with a bang. At the same time, there's another club from Kerala itself who have invested so much. You were there winning the trophy in Gokulam. Describe the setup at the Gokulam. Means the management very serious about women's football right from day one. Tell us more.
Yeah, and you can see that seriousness because they've been in it from day one to now. Since the IWL started, that they were the first club that put in the women's team. They've been consistent with it. They had, if they could also have given multiple reasons and shut down the team when they were not winning the league initially. So, but it shows the kind of genuine interest that they have towards the team doing well, and that's why you've got expectations. You provide the right things and actually be a professional club. So that I think that Gokulam gave me the first full-time professional club experience in India.
You speak about professionalism, professional club, from club to the countryside. The Indian women's national team has become extremely professional nowadays, something which people outside the camp and most people in the fraternity are also not aware of. Gone are the days when the Indian women's team only just went there for participation, maybe. They are extremely in a very dedicated bunch of professionals. What has brought in that professionalism, and how do you look at it from the national team setup?
I think just our mentality. We're more we're more aware that we are playing, and our results speak for something that's bigger than us. It is for the entire next generation. You're trying to bring a change. You're trying to stand for something, and that brings that extra motivation to for us to perform and really be professionals and act professionals, understand the sacrifices that professionals have to make, and stay on the path. That's not easy, especially when you're not getting that kind of support in terms of finances, or the opportunities to have a full-time career in while playing football. But you still have to think yourself and be and maintain yourself like a professional.
Surely, why not maintaining yourself like a professional? When Aditi, when everyone speaks about fitness in football, people refer to the boys, the men's team. Okay, understandable. But there's been a vast change in the spectrum and the paradigm as far as fitness levels of the women's national team and women's footballers in general are concerned. In fact, I have known you for quite some years now. You are extremely and super fit nowadays. You keep a tab on everything that's happening around. The DD of the team, as people call you. What's the diet like? Do women footballers eat whatever they want? एक ना perception है. अरे लड़की लोग तो चाट पूरी खा लेता है, पराठा खा लेगा है, चटपटा खाती है. What's the truth out there? Bring it out.
Listen, I mean, ultimately, we're all professionals. We understand that, and but professionals also need a breaks here and there. We obviously take care of our, I'll tell you, when we are focused. Imagine the 6 months we were literally, in a COVID setup. So basically, you're not allowed to go out, and the diet and everything, and you could see the results. That really changed the perspective of how we should be how we should be maintaining ourselves. So that is really the diet. Like everybody understands the kind of proportions that are needed, what they can and cannot eat, when they can and cannot eat, and that is the biggest experience that we've got as one of the senior players. And now it's since when we are in the team, it carries on to the other girls. And experiences, when you go abroad, you see, especially now with Manisha, I'm sure she's had a great experience of how professional footballers operate. So when she comes back to the team and she's part of the team, she would be able to spread that kind of professionalism in the team even further. So um, those are things that have developed, like football off the field things also. You learn and you adapt, you develop, and this is all, these little things play a big role in terms of your performance on the field.
Without any doubt, hitting the nail on the head, spot on. You see more women footballers going abroad.
Yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see that, and honestly, I feel there are more opportunities now coming. Now we see more trials being organized, the foreign clubs and scouts being interested and looking at the Indian players. So it is a very positive sign. This that shows that we've got the potential. And if that kind of exposure, because definitely professionalism, because of the history, there is better professionalism outside, and you have to raise your standard, and that plays a big role in terms of how you develop as a footballer as well.
You want to take any names who you believe can make it, because you have seen the world football, you have been there in England for long, you have played for the national team, you have traveled all over the world playing football. Any specific names which you want to tell the fans that would be a huge inspiration, whom you believe can make it abroad?
I think a lot of these under 17 girls, I was really impressed with a few of the under 17 World Cup players. Of course, there are multiple criteria that you have to meet, and there is a lot of experience that they still need to get. Um, I don't want to name any particular players because I see a lot of potential in all of them, and I don't want to put too much pressure. Good things are happening, whether I say it or not, and as part of what I can contribute, I do my bit as well with not just giving that exposure to the national team players, but also younger players who can benefit and who maybe can make it to the national team if they get that kind of experience. So some big things can happen, and there's definitely positive news around the potential and the talent that we have in India.
Options kept open for Aditi Chauhan if an offer comes to her that she would be moving out?
Not me, not me. I am only focused on my rehab right now. But I would love to get other girls, see other girls play outside. That'll be amazing.
Definitely, but I do a bit of disagreement on that. That not me, not me. Obviously, do the rehab. Why not? And uh, but if an offer
One
comes,
step at a time.
uh, one step at a time. The
Yeah.
influence of Thomas Dennerby in the team. This one I need to ask you. What's the
Yes.
influence of Thomas in the team?
He's been massive. I think the experience that he brings with him. I think the biggest positive that I've learned from him is to really get rid of the fear of playing when you're playing against big teams. For him to make that Brazil, that'll always be really special to me. And why I say that is because when we didn't have the confidence in us to play against a team like Brazil. Honestly, we were all freaking out when we were told that we might face Brazil and all of that. That where do we stand? Are we even will we be able to sustain ourselves against such high ranked team and against people who we've idolized? Um, so when we played against them, I had an absolute great time because I felt like this is my day to perform, and it took a part of that fear out, and gave me and the entire team that confidence that if we stay focused, if we work as a team. Of course, the physical aspect plays a part, but that gave us a confidence that we can face any team, and it'll be difficult for them to break us down. We know what we developed, we've experienced, and that's something that sir coach brought with him. He wanted us to experience that. There's a better style, there's a better understanding of how the game needs to be played, how when to make certain decisions. That kind of professional approach of managing a game or managing the team in a tournament, or when you're focused to achieve something. So he brings that with him.
Without any doubt, is he strict?
Not really. I mean, he's more concerned of what you get on the pitch. He's not really bothered. Um, I mean, of course, to an extent, but he's not really bothered about what you do outside. But when you're on the pitch, it has to be 100%. You have to be focused on the pitch, or the sessions that we do, the video sessions that we do. So whenever we have to dedicate our time to this, it's entirely focused on that. And he treats us as adults and as professionals, I would say that that's professionalism from him.
Extremely competent gentleman, and so nice to talk to hold a
Yeah.
conversation with almost NLP. And the experience that he brings in along with him into not just the Indian women's team, but Indian football overall is
Yes.
absolutely huge. Asian Games, where do means what's your take on the Asian Games group which we have? Can we make it out of the group? I believe we can, but obviously your feelings, what?
Yes, I think the realistic target would be to qualify as the second best placed team in the group, because we also have Japan in the group. So of course it'll be hard to
We have
defend
we have
against them, and they're also playing the World Cup.
we have Thailand, Chinese Taipei, and India in the
Oh,
group.
sorry. So in the qualifiers, I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the Asian Games. But yeah, in the group, in this Asian Games, we definitely have a chance. Although we didn't have the desired amount of time for preparation, but I still feel that now that the coach is back, of course they're working on their fitness and everything, but he brings that consistency as well to the team, and I think that can be useful going into the tournament.
They go if we qualify out of the group, the women, the ladies go straight into the quarterfinals, and in a quarterfinal match, you never know.
Yeah.
Both Chinese Taipei and Thailand are beatable, you believe?
Yeah, absolutely. We've faced Chinese Taipei recently, and we've done it in the past. We can definitely do it again. Uh, and it's just about the belief at the end of the day. What is the target? How, as a team, you believe in achieving your target, and then ultimately contributing individually to make it happen. So I hope that I can, meet the team before they go for the Asian Games, and just send them some wishes and everything that I can from my end. Give them the motivation. That's what I can do at this point.
Definitely, why not? Good luck on that. I'll be missing the media sessions, not part of the federation anymore. It was lovely interacting with all the girls as and whenever I got a chance. I think the last one, you run an academy, She Kicks, and that's
Yes.
that's a huge initiative. Understandably, very close to your heart, but what was the initial thought process of getting into it?
So every challenge that I faced while growing up, I didn't have a place to train. I didn't have, professionals guiding me. I didn't know, the kind of professionalism we talked about. I didn't have anywhere where I could look up to anyone, um, and know exactly what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do. Even the basics of football, goalkeeping for me, the basic techniques I learned very late in my career. So I thought, why not create a platform where I can get the girls and provide a safe environment, professional environment, and not just the of course the first objective is to increase women's football and the participation of girls in sports, but also the second objective is to ultimately produce national team players. So give them that professional setup, give them that exposure, and club opportunities, competitive opportunities, and then really help them in their career as a professional footballer.
It's too early to ask, but I'm tempted to ask. You have future thoughts of being a football administrator or a coach? That's post retirement, and retirement is still 10 years from now. Take this minimum 10 years from now. Just curious to understand your mind.
um I do see myself as in the administrative role for sure. But coaching is also something not I'm not ruling out completely. I do want to get my coaching licenses, just basically for my knowledge and understanding. But when I coach when I'm with the girls with my She Kicks team, and I do get into when I watch them play in the league and stuff, I do get into the tactical bits, and I'm just going there pumping up the girls and all of that. So I do enjoy that, so I can't say no to it. But yeah, it depends on the right opportunity, but my focus and my interest definitely right now lies more in the administrative side of things.
Well, whatever you do, Aditi, I can guarantee you'll do well. You wear the jersey number one. You have been the number one, and you will be the number one post football on the field. The walk of the field will always be there with you. Uh,
Thank you.
Ekdam last one. Any predictions for the FIFA Women's World Cup? Would you want to be kind of put in your neck?
Man, I mean, I am really loving watching Japan. So I'm rooting for them of the teams left. But Spain is also playing some beautiful football, and I was kind of surprised and shocked when Japan beat Spain 4-0. But that just shows that Japan has got some magic, and they're very efficient in the final third. They're very organized, so they can. And now with the some big teams have been knocked out, so there can be a new winner, and I hope it's Japan.
Let that be a new winner. There will be new participants in the FIFA World Cup very soon, and very much confident and will be that we will be there one day and very, very soon. The team, no words can explain how much thankful we are for you to
Thank you,
appear
sir.
on this platform. Extremely privileged, extremely privileged. God bless you in life. Take care of the rehab. Get well soon.
Thank you,
Get to the
sir.
field. We will be following you full support. And to all the friends and followers of Boll Dadaa Boll, Namaskar. Because speak always, because unless you speak, nothing will happen. Bol Dada Bol, and bye bye everyone.